What's up, everyone? Don't feel like getting my green screen back up. So quick intro. This is the live stream for the Founders event that happened in LA on the 29th, Friday the 29th. Quick intro again. It's a long video. I'm going to show you the entire stream. If you want to see the gameplay and some of the other aspects, check out my other video. But here's the stream. Hope you guys enjoy it.
At the incredible FaZe Warehouse. It took us a long time
Hey, we're
to
back,
get here.
baby.
Building this incredible team, which you are all going to meet later throughout the night. The dev team for Project Moon.
Okay.
And we are expanding every single day. Not just expanding the team, but expanding our variant founder base. And everybody here is in that first group.
This is on YouTube, but
why?
only
Why are we here?
if you have founder
We're here
access.
to build the next best first-person
only some of us
shooter,
have access to the
and it starts
link.
with the first snapshot. Up until this point, we've been referring
Thanks, Cal.
as Project Moon. But who's ready to know the final name of the game?
Oh, it's not Project Moon. Get wrecked, chat. We're about to figure it out.
So without further ado,
Project Moon was pretty
let's
weak,
load it
not
up
gonna lie.
and reveal what we are building together.
Oh, man. It's not Project Moon. Oh, man. It was a front the whole time. I always thought it was Midnight Society because that was a cooler name for a game. But this makes sense. Let's see. Dead? DEADROP? Okay. Makes sense. Yeah, I'm sure that they were probably hashing out all those names.
Yeah, we're dropping right after this. We have PlayStation set up over there.
Oh, they have.
PC PlayStations, not actual PlayStation.
Okay, I was like, how are they doing
to
on
test the
PlayStation?
build, what's
Sorry,
going to
guys.
happen next is after this, we want everybody to cycle through, play, watch each other play, talk about it, grab drinks. We're going to leave this stage, mingle with you guys, talk about it. As you get off the build, come find us. Let's chat about it. Let's start this process. Then we're
So dope that they get to be there and hang out with those guys.
One last surprise. The build is just one aspect of this. Every 6 weeks, we are updating these snapshots, not just with the playable builds, but also with the variant guide. Now, we printed a special edition of issue 1
Oh, dope.
for everybody here to go through.
Should have been
So
there.
now that the logo's revealed, we're going to have gift bags at the entrance. I think you all got tickets.
Oh,
Go there,
man.
get your hoodie, get your variant guide.
Hoodie.
Go through it. It breaks down every feature of the build. And just like the build's going to expand every 6 weeks, so is this variant guide, chronicling, detailing, visualizing. Everything that this group adds to the game is going to be in that, so that when we get to the end of this road, we have a beautiful, fat book that just shows it all. Without any more to say on that, introduce Katie, who's going to take it away, and then let's get down to business.
Rob, thank you so much. It is not every day that you get to spend a Friday in beautiful LA getting to see a reveal from a AAA studio. Midnight Society has done so much. Doc has done so much. Let me hear what you think about DEADROP. Let's get loud, please.
DEADROP, huh? DEADROP. I like it.
All right, we heard it from Rob. You have PlayStations. You're going to get to see some of these founders, the people who believe so much in Midnight Society, trying out the first snapshot of many for this game and for this roadmap. We're also going to be going throughout the crowd, getting interviews, seeing how people feel about DEADROP, their first impressions. Make sure you look out for it, for Doc, for Midnight Society, and for all the action. Don't go anywhere.
Honestly, I know some people were disappointed. I'm a little shocked at how much they had done with that player hideout. I really am. That's step one, but they sent us a screenshot to all the variants, and it looked like it was just going to be like a gray sandbox like of the game. So I was expecting literally just like a shooting range with a 3D character.
Hello, everybody. We are on the floor right now at the DEADROP reveal alongside Tom, who's gotten a chance to try out the game. And what is it like to be here for this?
I mean, this is amazing. The amount of people that showed up for this, the
Militant,
fact that they got a playable build here for everyone
Tango.
to try out,
Are they gonna
give
show
like
his?
the responses to the dev team about what they felt. Like nobody else is doing anything like this. It's just so refreshing to see in the gaming space that a company is taking the time to do something like this.
Now, you mentioned this to me off screen, but I want you to say it again. How did you feel when you first sat down with the game? Were you surprised? What were you expecting, and what did you get?
Okay, so this is the first playable build that they've let anybody see or play, and it looks amazing. Like, the art style, the graphics, it is top notch, and this is literally the first time they've let anybody see it or touch it. So just for the dev team to be this far along so early, it's crazy. Like, just imagine what it's going to look like when the game's actually done.
I thought they seemed far along.
Now, I got to ask, we get the reveal, right? I mean, something like a name reveal from a brand new AAA studio, that's a big deal. What do you think of DEADROP?
DEADROP, guys. So that's the official name that Midnight Society dropped today. And I mean, there was goosebumps through the whole building. DEADROP. Like, they've got a good name, a good studio, a good dev team. They're going to do big things.
I believe it. Certainly they will. All right. What else have you explored? Have you gotten to tour the whole building yet? What are you looking forward to?
I have not seen anything yet. I'm trying to walk around, meet people, meet the other fellow founders and variants here, talk to Doc a little bit. I'm just going to have a good time.
Awesome, Tom. Thank you so much. And go have fun. Have a good time. All right, Russ, get over here. Howdy. All right, we picked up another one. This is Russ. Welcome, welcome. How do you feel being one of the founders at the first ever founders event for Midnight Society?
Oh my goodness, it feels amazing. The energy here is great. DEADROP was an amazing game to play. I can't even describe in words how excited I am.
Okay, and you have been able to do the play test, correct?
Yes.
All right. What were you expecting, and were you surprised when you sat down and loaded into the game at what you got?
To be honest, I came in here with an open mind, and it really blew me away. Just DEADROP looks amazing. The lighting looks amazing. The pacing looks amazing. I'm really, really hyped for this.
The pacing?
What were you expecting from this event? I mean, did you expect a name like that? How has the whole experience felt so far?
I feel like the event right now, I really didn't expect this many people to come over. I thought it was going to be around a few 200, but it seems like there's thousands of people here.
Thousands?
Really wanting to play this game.
Awesome, Russ. Thank you so much, and go enjoy the rest of your night at the DEADROP reveal.
Thank you.
Thousands?
We will be back throughout the night with even more interviews as everyone gets their chance to get their hands on the game and listen to the devs from Midnight Society as they continue to talk more about their plans for DEADROP.
15 seconds.
Now that you've had some time to do it,
let's watch
variants at home have time to play it. We're going to take some questions here a little later, but we want to spend some time to talk about Midnight Society, why we formed it, why we're taking this approach, and get your questions about it, because what we're doing here has never been done. Normally, back in the day, and I've talked about this with a few of you guys on the floor already, you would come up to me at conventions, at COD XP, at different stuff, and you'd have feedback for the game. But by the time you're giving me that feedback, it's too late. Game's going out the door, right? We're in marketing mode at that point. And a lot of why we formed this studio, a lot of the basis of that was from those interactions. I see a lot of familiar faces out here of people who were in that COD community with me talking about that stuff, and we are trying to change the industry in a compelling way. And how we do that is by snapshots like this, right? This is our approach of every 6 weeks delivering new builds. Now, after we ship those builds, what do? get together. Not always in person. This is a rare event, this is the first of many to come.
First
but we
of
won't
many.
do this for every build, right?
Sure.
Our online interactions are key. That's why we have the variant Discord. After every snapshot build, when you go home tonight and the people at home already have it, right? We're going to have detailed surveys talking about every feature of the build. How do you feel about movement speed?
Slow.
How's that gun feel? How's that recoil spread? Right? Getting
Insane.
down to the nitty gritty. And I love, absolutely love, and if you guys have had this experience tonight, let me know. But the fact that some of you have played the build, immediately got over and started workshopping movement speeds. How movement speeds could be tweaked with attachments, how we could really approach that core gameplay loop. And that is honestly what this is about, is that interaction, that feedback. And we don't have to get it all tonight. This is a long journey. Go home, spend time with the build, run through the different ranges, really put it through its paces. This isn't about bug fixing. Yeah, we'll come across bugs. We'll address them as a community. We'll fix them.
I think
it's really about
the
the
reload speed
nuance
feels
of
good.
The gameplay and building that.
The
And
gun
so
feels good. I
would
can't
just like to
believe
spend some time, if we don't
hip
mind,
firing
talking about
works
what
that-
it's been
that
like to
distance
build
still.
this, because up until this point, getting to the first snapshot, it was about laying the foundation, introducing the first weapon, introducing the player hideout, that first space, right? But from this point on, I've said it a few times on Twitter,
Those
we
short.
do everything together. Now that the
Yeah,
build's
man.
out there, now that it's
What's
in
up,
your hands,
Jay?
now that you can play it at any moment of the
Thanks
day,
for stopping by, man.
time
You
in,
missed
right? If you have
the
an
high.
idea,
We had
if you come up
100
with
some
something,
people in
there's
here
something you
watching,
like or don't like, or you're
checking out the early
by something
stream.
that happens to you
But-
emergently in the player hideout.
Yeah,
Get
this
on there,
dude
let's
is
have
the
those
game
discussions,
director,
right? 'Cause we're gonna
and
start
his name is
scheduling these
Robert,
dev
and he's the
roundtables that
least looking
happen
Robert
online
I've ever
throughout time,
seen before.
And we take that feedback, we
I can't believe
incorporate
he
it into
goes
the
by
build, we
Robert.
iterate on
Maybe
it,
Robbie.
and then we do it again, right? Next build gets bigger, gets better, gets tighter, gets faster.
Jay, I remember seeing you. Didn't you get the email to join this? Did you not do it?
I love it. Then,
Oh,
then
nice.
we play it again. We inspire more, right? These snapshots keep growing and growing and growing. So I would love to just hear, maybe Quinn, you could kick us off on just like, what has the experience been like of building this game in this manner, right? It's very different than how we've been building games for a while. It's like, how do you feel knowing that instead of 2 years,
I thought I remember you
in
tweeting
6
around that
weeks,
time that you got the email
get to see
to get a
what we've been working on
founders
behind the scenes each
access,
time.
and you.
Well, that's a serious
I never saw you
question,
talk
Rob.
about it afterwards, so I
Serious
assumed you
man.
didn't
I would
go
have
through
to
with
say there's a lot happening right now inside of me, and honestly, a lot of it is there's nervousness because we're all here together. There's also excitement because we're all here
Who's this?
together.
Quinn.
But when I really think about what this process is going to be like, every 6 weeks of dev time, where us as a team, we get together, what do we want to make? We're going to get better. This is just the beginning. We're learning together as well.
I can
We're
show you,
forming our
man.
relationships. And I love to see not just us,
If you actually
but everyone
did
here,
get the
we're all
access.
forming relationships too. How many people that I've been able to talk to and learn names just tonight. And I've seen other people here get to know other
I almost
other
went out
people
to
here,
this
other
event
variants,
in LA.
exchanging
My
variant
cousin
names.
went,
What's
and
your attributes? What does your variant look like? People that are making friends right
That's dope.
here at this event. So for me,
Just
that
too
is like the most
expensive.
exciting thing because
The
I've
round trip
done
was just
plenty
too
of games
much
in development where you go dark
for that
and then
quick
you
of
hope you
a
have something at
turnaround.
the end that people really like. And here we're flipping on our head, and that's why we decided to create and found Midnight Society, so that we could all be here together in this room and to learn from each other. You guys get to play it, tell us what you like, what you don't like. And I've said this to a few of you, don't blow sunshine up at us, you know? Tell us if you don't like something, because the game's not gonna get better if you're just telling us that something's always great. So for me, that's one of the most exciting things about this team that is formed, and we're still growing, looking for more people.
I think
And
I'm
we
gonna
have
do
this build
C2E2
here, which
next
is exciting,
week.
but it's just the first step.
I have a Gambit comic I want to get graded, and instead of shipping it in,
That's a really crucial
I can
point
just,
that you just touched on, right?
I can just go drop it off to them in
This
person,
group
have them ship it back
need to
to me.
be the most critical people of this game before we finish it, right? Before it gets outside of this inner circle of the greater populace of gaming, we are the ones who need to beat it up. We are the ones that need to hold it to task, right? Because so many of us have been in that situation where we are emotionally invested in the game and it's just not hitting the mark for us, right? For whatever reason. But there's nothing we can do about it. We're doing this because now there is something we can do about it. And it's only gonna work if we all call bullshit when there's bullshit. If we all point it out when something's not working, right? Because everybody in this room, you flew here, you drove here, you walked here, you waited in the sun for hours. We did that because we all have a common passion for getting this right. Because we want something to play, we want something to love.
It feels better
that's
that
the focus of
my accuracy
what we
matched
are doing here is like
whoever they're
making
playing
sure
behind. I thought
that
being
we're
in the
getting it
30s
right
was
because it's on us.
no bueno.
It's not just
But this
on
guy's
us,
living in the 30s
right?
back here too.
It's on all of us to make sure we're identifying the things that matter and iterating on that. So I love that.
Yeah, and that's something that's great that Rob said is when he's saying us, he does not mean us. He does not just mean, Praz or Ryan.
Who's
or
on the camera?
Sumit's
Also,
a tough
Doc
critic. We all
being
know
very
Doc.
quiet.
He's a critic, right? Right? I mean, he's thirsty. He's so thirsty for something new in the industry, right? He's Midnight Society's biggest fan. I mean, look at him, right? He wants something fresh too. So we are our tough critics, but we need all of you to be tough critics as well. Because we don't just want to make another cookie cutter kind of game, another shooter that is just going to fade away into foreverness, right? So that's why all of us are tough critics, but we need you all to be tough critics too.
Yeah.
It's a
And
dope
so this
concept,
first
man.
snapshot, what we are
Community
focused
building
on
a
now
game.
is introducing the first weapon, introducing the first player hideout. That player hideout's going to grow over time. If you've had a chance to play it, I'm sure you've noticed there's a lot of locked doors in there.
A lot of locked
There's a few
doors.
open ones. There's a lot of locked doors, right? The conversations we need to go home and have tonight is where does that expand to? What is behind those doors? What do we want to see in this player hideout, which is essentially our pregame lobby, right?
Yeah.
When we head into that tower and come back out and we're breaking down our loot,
It is
going to
be a pregame lobby.
right? What do we want to do? What are the spaces we want to have available? Those are the discussions we
I
want to
thought
have.
it was gonna be
Speaking
like
of the first
Tarkov,
weapon,
like just a
Brad, you wanna talk
completely
about the weapon a little
separate
bit?
game function.
Is it on?
Hello?
Test,
I have one that works.
test.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, the first weapon is the X1 rifle. It's
X1
the first
rifle.
of many to come. And no one else more to
Yeah,
say.
no, I got you. So,
That's it. That's all Praz got to say about that.
Hey, Praz made it, so give him a break.
yeah, let's talk about what did we want, what was important for us to capture in this first snapshot that relates to the feedback that we want to get.
I think I could talk about the gun a little bit.
I would love it.
Okay. So I think typically, this is kind of an interesting thought I had about studios in general. Typically there's this
This guy's mic's a
relationship.
little low.
I'm an engineer, right? So
Hey,
typically,
yeah, speak into the.
hello?
There we go.
Okay. So, yeah, this is how we make this work.
September 2nd, next event.
So
Confirmed?
typically you have this relationship with engineers and designers.
I mean,
right,
that's.
where
Are you
you
just
have
doing
a
the
spec
6
for a
weeks
game,
out
it's supposed
math?
to look a certain way, do a certain thing. These are the mechanics, right? Engineer makes certain things that the designer can use to basically fulfill that spec, like live up to exactly how the game is designed. For us, that doesn't really exist yet. We're still trying to figure that out. We're figuring that out. You guys are helping us figure that out. So I think the challenge with the system
Code
that's
decoded.
really interesting for me and I enjoy working on is I'm not just
I was
making
getting
things
there.
for Praz to use to make a
Interior
very specific,
range,
preconceived
keypad,
idea
override,
of a weapon.
access.
Kind of making things
deny.
in the most generic, iterable way possible.
I was getting
so that
there.
These things are flexible and they're not set in stone at any point in time.
Nice,
So
man.
I think so far what you see with the gun that is in there is what Praz was able to express with the tools we currently have. So
It was-
whether you guys like
it was
the gun,
taking me
how
a
it is
second.
exactly, or there's even more expressions that you want to see with the guns, like attachments, things that you talked about. That's the kind of feedback we need too, things to make available so people like Praz can basically make those things come true for you guys.
That's honestly probably like the 20th version of that weapon. So like,
At least.
bring out 21, 22. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do we want to take some questions? Yeah? All right. So we want to open up the floor to talk about any questions you have about how this is going to work moving forward. Right now we're talking about the studio, snapshots, early feedback, that iteration loop, how that's going to work.
Yeah, I agree,
Katie
cheat,
and
man.
Miggles is
I
gonna
think
walk
it's gonna
around
be-
and make sure that you have a microphone, and then we can dive into
If
that.
it's on that
After
Unreal
this
5 and they're
talk,
able to
we're
build
gonna
it
take
out the way
another
they
break.
want,
People get drinks, play the game
gonna
if you
be
haven't got
awesome.
a chance to do it, and then we're gonna come back here with the dev team and dive deep into gameplay. If you looked at your variant guide, you know that we started to scratch the surface about what the narrative, the core gameplay loop, the fact that the game is a vertical extraction shooter, right? When we come back after this talk, we're diving into all of that. What does that mean? What is the nuance? What is that core gameplay loop? But right now, let's focus the questions around the studio, snapshot builds, early development, how you guys are going to be involved. Any questions you have on that, by all means.
And if I may, guys, let's give a huge props to the team. You know, the team here, the marketing team there, working behind the scenes.
dope,
I mean,
man.
can't even imagine. We started this 8 months back, right? Started working on this. You know, the concepts, the development, everything. I mean, it's just amazing. So, huge props to these guys.
8 months ago, this is what we've got so far. Man, no wonder games push
All right,
back
gentlemen, anyone who may not know you,
so much.
and shame on you if you don't, please introduce yourselves.
We're Team Summertime. We're a content trio for Optic Gaming, and thank you guys. Thank you.
Summertime.
Gaming at Dave's Warehouse?
All right away, I need to know, you see the logo drop, you see it come down on the screen. What did you guys think of DEADROP?
Man, it's actually been amazing. I didn't know what to expect. You know, they kept everything very close knit, and we had no idea what to expect going in there.
Yeah, I personally love the name. It fits well with the gameplay that I've played so far, so I enjoyed it.
Leave it to the Champions Club to make a damn good-looking game. It looks slick. I have a lot of questions about what a vertical shooter is. I see a big skyscraper, but I don't know what that means, but I'm excited to find out.
All right, well, my first impression was ominous, right? I mean, it looks very
I wonder if
imposing,
vertical
and I'm
extraction
sure the
means
devs
you
will be
are
discussing
actually
just that
working
for
your
the
way
vertical
up
shooter. But when
vertically
they're sitting
to
here,
like
they're
a
talking about
helipad
this
for
AAA game
extraction.
and how
Or is there
involved
other
all
ways
the
to
founders are
extract?
gonna be in it. Have you seen
Is the
anything
battle
like
royale that
before?
only
What does it
one
mean to you
team
guys when you
extracts
see
out
the
top on the
players, the
helipad?
fans getting engaged?
Is that like
I mean, look at all
the
the people
zone
here.
closing?
I don't
Is
think-
like you have to
I don't
go
think
up
people
to
have
the
ever
next
seen
level?
a game this early before. Look
And
at
that's
you
the
guys,
zone
man. It's insane.
closing?
I mean, we pulled up. We flew in today. You know, wanted to
It's interesting.
show some support to the Champions Club, and of course to
Until
to
one
the
person or
end.
one team
And,
gets to the top of
you
the
know,
helipad?
It's been awesome time. We've been camping out
The
for
other
the
thing-
last hour and a half playing, just shooting.
The other thing that's interesting too is Tarkov, obviously, like you can go in with a 5-man squad and you can just run rough shot over solos. I wonder if this is gonna have like solos, duos, squads version of extracting. And if I have a 4-man team, I know everyone we run into is a 4-man team or was a 4-man team. You know what I mean? It's interesting.
Bots and having a really good time.
All right, well, shooting bots, what do you think so far?
I think it's amazing. I think it's fluid. I like the movement so far. I'm a bit of a controller player myself, so I'm a bit new to keyboard mouse, but it feels good. I like trying to break the game as quick as possible. We were 360 off a building, shooting the last bot, having a good time. But the movement feels fluid. I like how the gunplay feels. It sounds good, which is a big part of it for me. It looks good, and I'm excited to get back out there.
Ooh, PvP. Well, we might
Yeah.
have a little bit of at least a 1v1 showdown later.
A 1v1 showdown.
But,
Thank
sir, you might want to get
Fry.
some water before that.
I don't know. Maybe a couple more of these, and you know, we might have
This
a
dude seems
better
lit
opportunity.
right now.
Lose a little bit, you know?
All right, so I got to ask before we let you guys go, what do you want to hear from the dev team most? What are you really, really curious about that you hope that they might cover tonight?
That's for you guys.
I'll still go back to the vertical. I just want to know what are we playing? Am I gonna be, you know, taking stuff out? Am I gonna be collecting
Yes.
M16s and taking them home and building
Yes.
toilets? Am I going to
Yes.
be? Am I gonna be like fighting other people in a game?
Yes.
I want to know what it is. I know it looks good though.
It does look good. Does it look good? All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for being here and for enjoying DEADROP.
I wonder, like, if these guys have variants, they're Optic professional gamers. I wonder how many of the variants went to, like, pros or
Okay.
streamers and
So-
content creators.
There was a lot in there. I think one of the questions was, hey, what is this? What is a vertical shooter? What does that mean? And am I going to be, are we going to be taking stuff home and building toilets? I don't know. That's pretty interesting. It's up to you guys to help influence that. How much do you want to take materials back and build toilets, right? These are the things we want to hear. But for us, a vertical shooter, especially in this, a vertical extraction shooter, you saw the tower, right? If you've played the build and then you saw the name reveal, you see that daunting tower in the distance.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be revealing too much about that, but what you can expect from a vertical shooter is, from a level design perspective, there's a lot of what we call over, under, and around kind of flow, like movement, right? So you could think of there's going to be people above you, there's going to be people circling around, underneath, pathways, all that kind of stuff. And we're taking it very seriously from that viewpoint. And players are going to be traveling up, down, just like you look at the name of the game. DEADROP, it's got the arrows that are going up and down. Players are going to be traversing and battling both upward and downward. And that to us is something.
It reminds me, if anyone's ever played Tarkov, if you go to labs specifically, it's terrifying because of the stairwells and because of the up and down. Labs is the most terrifying place to play. And hearing the footsteps and the shooting on the floor above you or the floor under you, it's like an entire game that's like labs, and they already said that there's AI bosses and bots like Tarkov, where it's like you'll run into just like AI, or there could be like a boss on certain floors that's AI. Man, that's
really exciting.
Is right
about
up
this
my
game
alley.
Is that there's not a lot of that in the game industry right now, especially from a level design viewpoint. So for us, a vertical extraction shooter is taking something. When you look at a lot of games that are horizontally built, we're taking that play space and making it vertical. Now, there's still going to be a lot of horizontal aspect to it. It's going to be big. It's not going to be, you're not going to be in an elevator shaft.
Yeah.
That building is huge, okay? And so there's going to be a lot of space for you to roam. There's going to be a lot of people hunting you. You're going to be the hunter, right? You're going to be stalking other players, getting loot, and maybe at the end of the day, we'll put some toilets in there for you to build as well.
All right, do we have some more questions? All right. Wave down Katie and Miggles.
Are we? All right.
Not that one.
All right, welcome. Please, if people do not know you, give us your name.
Hey, everybody. How's it going out there, crowd? Can I hear some noise, huh? I got one question, and it's for Doc. And I got to know, how is the in-game audio going to be for this game?
Good question.
It's the best Doc question.
Let's just say we've already fired 6 guys. How did the audio sound?
Good. It actually did.
Good.
Deep answer. I liked it. Anything else?
Yeah.
It's working.
It's been great to see a crowd out here. Great to see everyone showing support. People looking a lot like Doc out there, but not quite like him. There's also been, to be fair, there's also been quite a bit of flack and heat out there. I am curious how the team up here on the stage. Obviously, a lot of expectations have been set for you guys for good reason. It's a good group of guys, a good team out there as well. So how are you guys responding to those expectations that have been set before you?
Yeah.
That's an interesting question.
Our approach is straight simple, right? We don't give a shit what anybody says. We don't give a shit what anybody thinks. We are going to answer every critique with builds. Playable builds every 6 weeks.
There's a lot of people coming for them.
We're listening, right? And we're building. We're answering through action. We're not answering through talking or responding or trying to appease everybody. The only people we're trying to appease, this group right here. This is it. The people in this room, the people in the Discord, the Variant Only Discord at home, those are the opinions that matter, because we know collectively we're going to answer the need, right? It's not about us. We're here to execute on this, and that's what we're going to do based on everything anybody says. Anybody can have an opinion, right? But until you play it, That's when it matters.
Thank you, thank you. We do certainly know that Twitter has a whole lot of opinions,
A
and hopefully
whole
tonight
lot
most
of
of them
opinions.
positive. Anything else?
One last one for you guys. You know, it seems that competition is primed and ready. It seems like a lot of people in the gaming space want to make their own games
This
too.
dude's got a claw in
You got
hand
OTK,
and a claw in pocket.
You got 100 Thieves, and you got Doc and his team too. So how do you guys compare yourselves to all the competition ongoing right now?
I haven't heard of any of those. Have you?
Look, I mean, I would say one thing is, you know, honestly, we are not trying to compare ourselves to anyone, right? We are who we are, and I look at this group, and this is just a subgroup of the developers of Midnight Society, and this is a damn good group, all right? And we're not thinking about anyone else in the gaming industry. We're thinking about us and you guys, right? That's what we're thinking about. We compare ourselves to what you think about what is on the screen. Because us, we have a saying, on screen is king.
What's up, Jake?
Right? Like, you could do paper designs, you could do all sorts of stuff, but until it's on screen and playable, which is what we have here right now, it doesn't matter, okay? So for us, we're not comparing ourselves to anyone else.
Yeah. I just want to say one thing real quick, right? We got in this to change the industry. We expected it to take a while. The fact that people are already starting to do what we started 6 months ago, I love to see it. I want more people to copy us. I want more people to open up their games early. I want more people to include their community. We're not trying to corner the market on that. We're trying to change the industry so everybody does it. So I love that those other people are following in our footsteps. Let them do it. They're going to make a different game than us, and that game's going to be better because they did what we're doing now and opening it up.
Never heard of him.
All right, I think we got another question for the incredible dev team.
All right, guys, we've heard a lot of people, you know, there's comparisons everywhere. You say you're doing it better than anyone else, but we hear, oh, this is kind of like Tarkov. This is kind of like CSGO. This is kind of like Call of Duty. But what is making this game the next level? What is making this, like you said, that no one can compare, that people are going to try to copy you?
Okay, well, for us, again, the proof is in the pudding and what we're going to be putting on screen. But the way we're looking at this is we're trying to take the best of all of our knowledge. This team is made up of a lot of veterans from all sorts of games and big-time games in the industry.
Like I said, my cousin's there.
About those games, and
I'm curious to see if he
so we're taking what we feel is the best of those.
had a chance to be someone asking questions, or if these were like all teed up.
There's so many things that have been retread before. And for us, it's also not just about the idea, it's about the execution of those ideas. And some other studios, they could do something, but if the execution isn't there, then it's not going to have people playing it. And so for us, the big game changer is the execution. We need to execute on these ideas, even if those similar ideas in the industry. It's the execution, and then again, the other big game changer, we keep coming back to it. We sound like a broken record, but seriously, the other game changer is everyone in this room, right? If everyone does their job and speaks up and lets us know when something is lame or when something is genuinely good, that to us is how we're going to get something that everyone else doesn't have, and maybe they'll want to copy us and be like us too.
I agree. This is a lot of.
We have one more set of questions from a different angle.
It's a lot of talk, but
Doge, my co-caster, and someone from a talent perspective.
you know, Doc likes competitive gaming, and I do too. I've watched him play a lot of the games I've been interested in over the years, and
yeah, no, it's a incredible product already, and we're really excited about the roadmap forward.
Them using the community to help guide their build.
There's a lot that can be said about public lobbies and how a game can execute for the casual player base, but we all know the competitive player base, specifically esports level player base, can really change the way a game is looked at. So give us a little bit of insight.
I agree, Dweller. Just that, yeah, this is a rah-rah speech, right? This is
and I've talked about this with a few of you guys out there already, right? How we look at it, and we've said time and time again,
I mean,
you don't build an esports game.
They don't have to
Esports
get us hyped
chooses
since
you.
we all bought
Right?
in.
So
Everyone who's there
we
is
are
already a
focused
founder.
Right now on that
Everyone has
core
access to this
gunplay,
link as a founder.
making it feel good, and if we do that correctly, and
I
we
guess
make
this
that
is for the
feel
rest of
smooth
you.
and tight and feel competitive, like you feel like you can compete at it, the teams are going to respond. And this is a great question because it speaks to how we built this group right here. Everybody in this room filled out that ridiculous application
Ridiculous
process, right?
application process.
It wasn't for nothing. The reason we asked
Ridiculous.
those questions, asked for that data, was so that we understood who was casual, who was hardcore, who was an esports athlete, who's a developer, who's a content creator. Because we wanted this first group, everybody here and everybody at home in the Variant Only channel, to be a diverse group of opinions so that we could start at a base level and be like, let's get gunplay good. Now let's hear from our esports athletes in the crowd about, you know, what could be competitive, what feels too RNG, what should be removed from a competitive playlist, right? And iterate like that. Because at the end of the day, if the esports scenes, right, we're here at FaZe Clan right now, we're good friends with Optic, we have a lot of friends, a lot of founders who are in the esports scene. If you guys are asking for this to go competitive, and this group decides to support those ambitions, that's what we do. That's how this works, right?
Interesting.
If there's a need for it, there's a voice for it, then we do it.
That's the
and
goal
so
for
we are
them,
going to listen,
to go
and we're going to
competitive.
build towards
This is
what
not
this
meant to be
group wants
casual.
do. And
I
just
should say
diversify
there
that
will
way.
be a casual playlist, right? Like Apex has a super casual side to it, and then there's the rank side
wrapping it up?
where you beat your head against the wall and grind
That
and grind.
leaves it for this portion of it where we're talking about the studio and the setup. Please, if you haven't already, get some time in. If you've already got some time in, grab a drink, relax, pick up your swag, talk to the dev team. After we want as many people to
I
have
know there's
time
no
with the
way,
action
but I
build
did
as
tell my
possible,
cousin
'cause
to grab
when we
me
get
some
back,
swag.
we're going to dive into
There's
the
no way,
actual
though.
deep dive of
The way I saw
gameplay
that
questions.
table set
talk
up.
about gunplay, talk about features, talk about where we're going, what our thinking was in those. So spend some time on it, talk to us if you see us, and then we'll be right back here in a little.
Hey everyone, welcome back. We're here, the game dev team. We're going to talk a little bit more about in-depth the game we're making.
All right, this is the
We're
last
gonna talk a
section
little
we're
bit about
gonna
mechanics. We can talk about the art style,
stream
all
for.
that stuff. We're going to talk
If they
about
do more,
snapshot
I'll record it and
walk
chop
through
it up and throw it up on
step by step,
on the
what we
YouTube.
delivered on, what was
But
our
sorry,
vision,
man,
what
I
were we
really don't know what
thinking, all
KYC or
that
Yuga
kind of
Labs
stuff,
is.
so that you can get a little bit more context for those of you that have already played it and those of you who have yet to play it. So let's get into that a little bit, okay? So right here on this screen, this is the
Oh.
very first thing that you see.
No,
when
they
you
have
load
not
up
talked about
Snapshot
that.
1. You're riding in an elevator.
It's a good
there's some
question, though.
mystery, what's going on here.
Gotcha,
The
gotcha,
elevator
gotcha.
doors
Yeah,
open,
they have
and
not
boom,
talked
you're
about
greeted
that to
this.
protect
This
like our
is
NFTs
what we're
and
calling
stuff.
our,
No,
our weapons bench room, all right?
but that's a good question.
So
We'll
in
see if they
here
jump into it.
Is the weapons bench, and this is something that this could become lots of things, and this is what we'd like to get feedback from you guys. But for us, the genesis of this is where you as a player could come and customize your weapon or weapons, not just a single weapon, but your weapons. How many weapons do you have? All those kind of things. What kind of weapons? These are the things we also want to hear from you as well.
Similar to Tarkov, here's your weapons bench. Come in, craft it, test it out. It's a new weapon you just extract it with. Bring it in here, mod it, test it, take it out to real battle. It's dope.
But you as a player, you'd come in here and you'd tinker with things. You'd change different attachments, all sorts of stuff, right? Things that you'd expect. We're thinking of things like, hey, how do you display maybe your favorite weapon? All that kind of stuff. And so that's what this room was trying to evoke. It's like very simple. We want to at least lay the foundation for the weapons bench. And in this room as well, we've also got things like, you know, there's a closed door over to the right. Well, what's that all about? You know, there's a keypad. If you're going to interact with it, it beeps at you, says access denied. There's things in there that we're trying to build towards. And that's what's exciting to us with this hideout and with this game in general as we build it with all of you in mind, is things are going to evolve over time. There's going to be new areas to explore. Each snapshot will get into these things. So when it comes to this room and this weapon, one of the main features is this classified rifle. We don't really have a name for it yet. That'll come. So if anyone's got cool ideas, let us know.
Dope. Be dope to name a gun.
So let's talk a little bit about this, because I want to kick it over to our art director, Darren Bacon, and he could tell us a little bit about this weapon, its identity, its looks, and all that.
Yeah, okay, so this weapon, it's kind of a nice snapshot on
Turn 'em up.
just art direction generally all up on the project. And so what we
Turn his mic up.
Is it's like the high level idea is it's the future through the lens of the 80s and 90s in like an alternate timeline. So
Oh, my
what that
camera.
allows us to do is like kind of pick the stuff that like fits best with our genre and Midnight Society. And so also generally like the whole vibe basically lives around that, and it's a world where
All right, we're gonna watch it like this now.
Doc could be living in, but he'd be in the streets, and it's not like we're making his big adventures. So that's generally the high level art style goals.
Yeah, totally. So that is another thing that's really exciting about this when we think about the art style and the visuals that you're seeing in here is, like Darren said, it's as if the 1980s or the 90s never really ended. Not the campy stuff, but like the stuff that we all, grew up liking. Like you think of like the Terminator movies or Aliens and Escape from New York. Those are some of our inspirations of this kind of universe we're building here. And so that's why we love the X1 and that classified rifle, just how it looks. And to be, So with that, I mean, what about the environment in here? And I'd like to Greg over here. Greg Cox is our lead environment artist. Greg, tell us about just the environment and what we're trying to see here and accomplish.
Well, there was a couple of challenges with this because we're using Unreal 5, so we want to make sure that we're using the features of Unreal 5 to make our lives easier while still delivering a very good product. And to your point, Quinn, this is, when we first started looking at this space, we put together a lot of reference boards. So we started looking at a lot of the classic movies that we kind of like, old school John Carpenter kind of movies, Big Trouble in Little China, a little bit of Bloodsport in there, So we mixed some things in of, not for the sake of nostalgia, like we don't necessarily want to convey nostalgia, but the limitations that those films had at the time made those films great, and they look good, right? So we want to capture that a little bit. So we knew that for this first shot, it had to be important. Like it needed to grab your attention immediately. The player needs to see that rifle. The player needs to be drawn into that workbench. And so we began populating it out with some of the assets that we built from scratch. And then we also pulled in things from Megascans to kind of make life a little bit easier.
I don't know how I feel about that rifle.
So we did a lot of set dressing, and we went through multiple iterations.
I mean, it's a basic assault rifle.
That mood for it a little bit and everything.
But it doesn't feel.
And I think it did the job. I think it did a really good job of it. So, yeah, we're all really, really proud of it, and I think that rifle just looks so damn good up there.
Nice. Okay.
No,
it's
okay.
So
they feel proud of it. Now I feel bad.
We'll talk a little bit
now, I'm
about
not
that.
saying it's a bad rifle. I'm just saying it didn't
so
feel
this
like
is a little bit of that tease that
Crazy.
we were telling you about. So this is a concept image of what that door to the right of the weapon bench could be. And so now we're looking at this like, okay, right now we're just calling it like the vault, right? Like, or the armory. What does the player want to put in there? What are the things that are interesting? Kind of gear. What kind of gear do you want to put in there? What kind of weaponry do you want to put in there? Things that you really like that you want to keep safe. Things that you want to use for the right moment, the right area in which you're going to go play in. So this is just an early concept tease of something that could or could not be coming. So, all right, let's go to the next one. Oh, okay. So, speaking of teases. Speaking of feedback and teases. Yeah, so this is another one. In the variant guide, you'll see this as well. This is an image of another concept that is amazing about our garage, right? So we're calling it the garage, and we'll have more to talk about this at another time. But as you look through the variant guide and take a look at this image, just soak it in. What are the ideas? What are the things that you like? What are the things that you think about this? Let us know, and we'll have some conversations about it. That's all I really want to say about that.
Let me pose a little question. I don't want an answer now.
The good
I'm not
Doc's
saying it
Lambo.
is or is not related to the garage, right? I just want to know. Think about it. Get back to us. Hit us up on Discord or Twitter. We know we're in the player hideout. We know we're going to a tower. How do we get to that tower? What does that process look like? That's what I'd like you guys to think about, mull over, right? How are we getting there?
I thought he was saying that we were going to drive a car there. That doesn't make sense.
Oh, there's some interesting questions, huh? So I would just simmer on that. Look at your variant guide, soak in that artwork, and think, what's the best fucking raddest way we can get from the player hideout to the tower?
Well, the raddest way is not just insta spawning in.
I love when Rob chimes in and he tells someone to hold his beer and he just like gets in after it.
That would be dope. Voice proximity, open mic. Everyone calmed into the same channel.
So this right here, this is what we're calling
just
our
talking,
interior range, right?
Talking
the
trash.
gun range that's inside the hideout. And we have all sorts of little mini games or firing range experiences. There's 3 to be exact. And this is where we want the player to be tested on different kinds of gunplay with this classified rifle that we have in the experience. So again, I love the visuals of this. This is all through Unreal Engine 5. We're super excited for it. You could look through this. You could see Darren's vision. You could see what Greg has done and what Eric has done and what Steve has done with his concept work. I mean, there's just so much effort poured in through the team on this that we just love to finally get it in your hands.
I want Doc driving me there while I'm loading my guns.
What I really want to talk
no, I
about
agree,
right
man.
now
I
is
think
the
that
firing range experience.
competitive gaming is like
to talk about that
what I
is
get
our
addicted
director of
to,
gameplay engineering,
and
which is Jim here on the end.
I hope that
So
this
Jim,
is it.
tell
man.
us all
Knowing
about
Doc,
these
it should
firing
be.
ranges and how it works.
Has Doc been answering questions? Yeah, he's had a couple directed him. He was
Quinn.
sitting in this chair.
So I was watching people play over here.
And it doesn't look like he is
and
now.
I think this first firing range.
I'm gonna upload this on YouTube later, and the parts with Doc will be in there as well too.
Pretty much.
I've never my son has a YouTube channel. I upload kid games and stuff with him. My YouTube channel, this will be the first video I upload, but I'm going to start making some YouTube content around this stuff, and I'm going to cut this all up and show it off on YouTube.
Pretty much everybody understood
So if you guys want, you can go subscribe over there. It'll go up tomorrow. I'll put it up tomorrow.
it right away. So let me kind of contrast this one and the second one. This first one, there's one target active at a time. And so we don't even put that on the, it's not even on the HUD. There's just one target pops up, you shoot it, the next target pops up, and the targets are not moving much. They move a little bit,
Yeah.
they get out from behind one of those kind of barriers. So it's very simple. There's 10 targets and they pop up and they're really relatively close range. You can see the end of the range very easily. Honestly, watching people play over here, I feel like maybe our learning curve was a little too steep on the second target range. A lot of people started the second range, and it's way upstairs. That's not a great picture for it. But they started the second target range, and it pops up and it says, "Oh, there's 2 targets active."
And you
people are
can't find them.
Where are they? And then they go down the elevator, and they're kind of looking around for where are the targets.
That's
Truth
what
is,
happened to
targets are,
me.
like a lot farther away, and you really have to. There's a lot of fog and stuff, so to be honest, Quinn and Rob kept telling me and some of the other guys, this is not meant to be an easy game.
That's right.
It's like we're gonna lean into shadows on this game, and so it should be hard to see your enemies and these targets, so it's totally fine.
That's good
So
to know,
people
because
can
I
play
thought
that
the game
again,
looked
I
a
would
little
say.
dark.
If you only had one chance to play
So
it
we just
here.
got to deal with it.
So that's the second one. You want me to tell about the third
Just
one?
fine.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think the really thing that's important to hear from you, Jim, is what is the three ranges and what is the skills we're trying to test for the players? Because that was something that you really did a good job of executing with your team on, you know, the interior range, what's the goal there, the goal for the first exterior, and then the goal for the
He
bottom
does.
range. And
He
the
respects
surprises down there.
Yeah.
Tarkov's
Yeah, the first one is really
unwillingness
the targets are
to-
very visible. There's
to
only
forgive.
one choice at a time, so it's really about quick acquisition, target to target to target, and it's really just about
And the pain of
quickly
the
moving
learning
from
curve
one
of
target to the
Tarkov,
next.
the pain of losing
Whereas the
it all.
second target range, they're
you know,
farther off, so
while
it's,
you figure
it's
it
more
out
about
is
scanning the
Doc's
environment
always
and seeing
respected
where
it.
the
Even
targets
if you
are.
never
and
liked the
they're
movement,
a lot farther off, so it's much more challenging.
even if
to
it wasn't
actually
right up his
get,
wheelhouse, he
get
always thought the
headshots.
concept
So that
was
second firing
top
range
tier.
is much more difficult. As I say, might have been wise for us to have another one in between the two to kind of scale up to that. But anyway, you guys like hard games, I'm sure. So the third one we call our reaction trial, and the clock works differently there. You start the trial. This is down at the bottom. You take the
elevator
down,
Yep.
and there's a button to start the trial, and then you move through. We actually, Praz actually added a lot of arrows to kind of guide you through the environment. Those yellow kind of spray painted arrows to guide you through, and it's all about quick reactions. Those targets are relatively close, but you're kind of moving forward, and you don't know exactly when they're going to pop up because you can't really see the trigger that's going to pop them up. Probably if you play it 10, 20 times, you'll know exactly where they get triggered. But the idea is to test your quick reflexes and your reaction time. So you go through, some 2 to 4 things pop up, and you shoot them. So that's the third one.
Yeah. So this is something else that we really wanted with these targets to be there is like, hey, we have a weapon in the game. It's not going to be fun if we just have a space where you're just shooting the wall or the floor, messing around. What do we have in there? So you could actually look at what's the bullet drop, right? What's the projectile speed? Because every weapon in our game, we're going to have projectiles and speeds that are varying at different distances. So we want to see how does that feel, and that's why some of the targets move, some of them don't. And then we got really good fun stuff in there with the chaos system that Unreal provides, where you've got destruction on the targets. So it's fun to just, we were
that was dope.
earlier on in development. We had it so as soon as you hit a target, the target just like immediately goes down. We're like, that's not very fun. Like, what do we do about that? It's like, well, why don't we have the target stay up for just a second, so you could see, oh man, I blew a hole in the leg of that target. Oh, that person just got lobotomized. Their head's gone, right? Because we got destruction in there. And that made a lot more, made a bigger difference in just the overall fun. Even though you're not shooting other players, that'll come, but you're not shooting any other players right now. You're just shooting targets.
Oh
and you're
man, I
kind of learning
cannot
the gunplay
wait
of
for the
what we're trying to
first
go
snapshot where we get to go in PvP.
There'll be more to come as well. So that's the main reason why we got
Cannot
these
wait.
targets, these firing ranges, all that, so we can get feedback from you on the spread of the weapon, the recoil, the bullet, the projectile speeds, everything. So yeah, so that is out here in the exterior range. For me, the second one is a lot of fun because of the ranges and the heights. Because in a game that is a vertical extraction shooter, you're not just going to be shooting everyone that's on the same plane as you. You're going to have to be looking up, looking down. The height advantage is going to be a real deal in our game. So those are some of the exciting things about the exterior range as well. So,
Hey, Quinn.
yeah.
I want to jump in a little bit on the
Yeah,
chaos. One just quick comment is early on we had some discussions about whether we should use the Unreal 4 physics technology, which is called PhysX, or the Unreal 5 physics technology, which is called chaos physics. And we decided, we're leaning into UE5. So we set it up for all the targets, and I think that's pretty much all we did for starters. Is the wooden targets and the cyborg targets are all using chaos physics. But I think it looks great. It looks much better than the older Destruction, and we can lean into that even more and bring some really amazing physics simulations. So I think we made a great choice.
Yeah, that's a really good point that
camera's,
I'd
like,
like to dive
autofocusing?
deep on a little bit, right? We've decided that we're fully embracing Unreal Engine 5 and all the bells and whistles that come with it, right? One of those things that Jim touches on is dynamic destructibility through chaos. Right now we're using it for the targets, right? If you ran through the range, you see those things getting fucked up, right? They're coming apart. What we need to think about, again, something for us to discuss, is how much do we want to lean in on that in the environment? Do we want walls being fully destructible? Do we want cover points being destructible? Maybe not walls, maybe cover points, right? To what degree do we want that, right? Do we want there to always be low cover, but we destroy medium to high cover, right?
Interesting.
This is the mindset that we all need to be getting into, because these are the discussions and the hard
I
decisions
wonder if they'll have like wall banging
that we
and
need
stuff.
to make.
But
Because
yeah,
I'll tell
being
you
able
right
to
now, and a
destroy
lot of you
cover-
already know, I see you shaking your head. The moment, if we decide to go full destructibility on cover points, that changes the game
100%.
in a big way. That changes how you choose to engage. That chooses how you choose to break contact. So it has big ripple effects, right? So we've made a decision as a development team to embrace the Chaos Engine and destructibility. Our job as variants is to figure out to what degree. Where do we draw the line, right? That's what we need to be thinking about and talking about on Discord after this event, right? Because once we move into PvP, when we're fighting each other,
Yes.
whether
Bring
in
it.
the sectors or in other areas, that's going to play big, right? So one of the big things that I know is going to be a discussion point in the next 6 weeks is like, all right, if we're starting to think about PvP, what does that map look like? What does that map look like when you spawn? What does that map look like 10 minutes into the session, right? So like, I feel like I'm giving people homework, but just think about it. Because we are all about setting the course, right? Setting the course on the tech we're going to use to achieve it and implementing it. The scope, the scale, the direction, all of that stuff is going to come from a collective. But I love Chaos so far. It adds so much to the range.
It seems dope.
Thanks, Rob, for adding that.
It's
That's a
crazy
big
that
deal.
they
Like,
could
you
do
can't,
Unreal
undersell-
5 with
undersell
Unreal
much
4's
how
physics.
Much, what Unreal Engine 5 does for us. So, okay. Moving on. Like, we got some questions? Okay, let's do it.
This might be your question, man.
All right, well, first things first, I do have a Twitter question for you guys. Everyone's been loving the name. They think it's fantastic, but we've seen it more than a few times. Who came up with the name DEADROP?
Well, that was a very collaborative effort. Is the very that's probably the safe way to say it. But I'll say, Rob. It's a Rob call. Rob wanted to do it. He loved that name, and but to be honest, the people that get in the room was myself, Rob, Brian Miggles, and Doc. Doc was there. He's always providing his feedback, and we had lots of cool options, but we just kept coming back to DEADROP. And every time we came back to DEADROP, Rob would just be gloating on his camera the whole time.
I lose my fucking mind every time it came up. I'll tell you one thing. I definitely am the one who decided to spell it wrong. That was 100% me.
Well, we're spelling it our way now because that's the right way to spell it. So, yeah.
Fantastic, thank you. All right, let us know who you are. I know you said you're involved in the Discord. Obviously, you're here in the whole outfit. What do you got for the dev team?
Yeah, my name's Alex Isidore on Discord, aka the 5'8" variant, because I'm not 6'8". But question about the variants, because I see that each variant almost has like a different perk. How is that going to play into the game? Like, let's say we're on a specific level. I don't know if this is going to be the case. Let's say I'm really good with long-range combat. Will that play into how our team is going to get to the next stage? If it's stage-based, where we start from here, we conquer this area, boom, we go on to the next level. Like, how are the variants
not
going
it.
to play?
But it's a
with
good question to
proceeding
ask how
in
perks work.
the levels as it
But
goes
that's
through?
not how it works.
Yeah, so I've got thoughts about that for sure, but I want to, is anyone else have any thoughts or ideas about that? No? Okay, just making sure everyone has an opportunity. Oh, I know Rob will say something. He'll always say something.
Sorry.
So
I'm sitting back here. Leave me alone.
So the variants, all of you are super important to us, and that is something that we'd like to have an open dialogue on. Like, how does that work? Because each and one of you have your own variant, you have your own attributes and categories, to your point. How do we have that manifest itself in the game? And that's something that we're interested in, but right now we're focused on the core foundation of the game, what it's like for people, the majority of the people that are going to be playing this game, because the majority of the people are not in this exclusive, amazing club of variants. So what we're trying to do is make sure that the variants are able to stand out, or peacock, right? You have that badge of honor, that day
100%.
zero community that you're here. So when you're in a server, people are like, whoa,
Yeah.
check that out.
An
There's
OG.
a variant right there.
Yeah, an
So,
OG's
but
in here.
As far as the gameplay goes, that's something that we're gonna have to work out together as a crew and see what we want to accomplish.
I think I have a couple thoughts about that too, if you don't mind. Just throw in there. Okay, cool. Say from on the couch.
We're gonna get hunted as variants.
I think the thing with the variants and like the specific stats that are on there and stuff, that's something we had to create before we had the opportunity to.
It would be dope if we got like blue check marks. You know, like, I haven't played 2K in a long time, but if you play 2K and you go to the park and you're a famous person, you have like a blue check mark. I mean, I guess we're not famous, but it'd be dope, something like that, like in game, to be like, oh, that's like an official variant.
Know who you guys were. So if you think about it, like the variants were created before people controlled them, right? So the
Thanks,
challenge
Ryan.
there is that we didn't really want to.
I don't blame you.
commit
I would be
exactly
too.
in a gameplay sense to what's on there, because we had to kind of design those and make those decisions before you guys had a chance to even participate, if that makes sense. So I think everything that is in there is a great starting point for like inspiration or things that we might want to add, sort of like what Clinton's talking about, but nothing that we wanted to decide before people had an opportunity to participate.
I don't blame you
We're whispering, but we'll be with you in one moment.
at all.
Yeah, so vertical extraction shooter, like what exactly is that going to look like? Because for me, this is new. I haven't played any games where it's vertically based, so like what's...
Sorry, that
Little
question's
further.
no good.
What's that going to look like for us? What can we expect?
They're gonna keep getting this question.
Okay. All right. Again, just making sure we're all good. We have a voice up here. Okay. So, what's that going to look like? Well, you see on the screen right now, that is the exterior, right? And the main reason we wanted this tower there is we wanted that inspiration. That is the goal. That's where we want to get to.
Yep.
That right there is
No, it's dope to have that in
the
the background.
place that largely people are going to be playing in DEADROP. That's where you're going to be going on your runs, okay? That's where you're going to be dropping. That's where you're going to be trying to escape with your life and your things. So what's that
Calling them runs, that's a very Tarkov term. Runs.
look like? We're not going to, we don't want to release or talk about everything that's going on there, because right now we're so focused on Snapshot 1 and what that is. But just to give you a little bit of taste, that's a lot of building. And there's a lot of things in there. So internally, we've already had really fun, interesting conversations about what each area of that building, what that tower is going to look like.
Yeah.
From visual thematics, right, to even gameplay. Like, you know, we're even calling them like sectors, right? So not just floors, but like a sector. And this building is going to have
If you think about like the biggest buildings in the world, there's some of it is office buildings, some of it might be like first floor retail, then office buildings, then restaurants on the 60th floor, and then apartments on like 10 levels. Yeah, it's like every section could feel so different. You could have so many different layouts in one building. It could be dope.
multiple sectors inside, and each sector is huge, and each sector is going to have different themes in it. You know, like, hey, is this one like a hospital? Okay, cool. Or is this like a whole medical area? Is this a storage area? Where's the sector that is exterior based, so we get a little bit of that cool weather that you see in Snapshot 1 with the rain?
A little balcony
So
action.
that's just a little bit of the tease. We'll get more into that, and we have big, high hopes and goals for what the tower gameplay is like. But rest assured, it's going to be crazy and awesome.
Yeah, I have a quick question.
I believe them when they say this.
Take his beer away.
I just got a quick question.
Turn his mic off.
How many people here completed the ARG that we did? A decent amount, right? And like the ARG we called the CC protocol, which was the Claws Combat Protocol, right? It was a training ground, a simulator to figure out how our variants would think, how they sort of approach this concept of sector-to-sector gameplay, choosing between engaging and extracting, right? That ARG laid a lot of philosophical foundation for how we think about the tower, how it's constructed. Because I think philosophically, and by all means chime in, correct me if I'm wrong or you want to elaborate, I know what we love based on our collective experiences on different franchises is we love like arena map design, right? What we love about that is we love being able to learn a map, master an area, learn sight lines and cover points and the best place to post up, right? But we really enjoy the larger scale of battle royales. But there's some downsides to that, right? And I think what we were looking at with this vertical design was how can we get the sort of map design we love, but with the player counts and scales that we love without the benefits of the other stuff, right?
Now we're talking.
Then sprinkle in a little of that persistent session-to-session gameplay that you get from extraction shooters, and you got something there, right?
He's not
and I
lying.
think that is what has led the foundation for where we're going.
Learn the map, learn the sight lines, learn spawn points for certain things. If you want to chase high-level loot, if you want to chase high-level weapons, learn the spawn points. That's the arena-based part. Then, like, high player counts, the Battle Royale part, extractions, high intensity, high risk, high reward gameplay. Like, they're not lying. This is everything built into one. It's just, we have to see.
But the thing is, we're not just going to drop that on you, right? We're going to build towards that. And at any point, when we play it, that could change based on the sentiment, right?
Sure.
We could be moving in that direction full speed ahead, and we're just not feeling it as a group, right? As a collective. And then we augment, we change, we iterate. But the starting point is really looking at how do we capture that arena map design style, scope and scale, verticality and every sort of element to it, and build towards that in a really interesting way. But let's do it one building block at a time.
Okay, so I think that about does it for us in this session right here. I want to say, thank you to everyone here. Also, up here on the stage, we got lots of talented game developers working on this game, and we also have Rob. So by all means, come and reach out and talk to all of us. I like to razz Rob, I love him. But, so for that, this time we'll kick it over to Katie.
Thank you. And everyone, thank you for an incredible turnout. We're winding toward the end of the evening. But as we release you, go mingle, grab a drink. Make sure if you haven't, there's a photo booth over here in the corner. Get your pictures, get everything you need. And make sure if you haven't already, get your variant guide. I already got to read through mine. It is incredible. You won't want to miss all the information it has in store. So go relax, talk to the dev team when you see them mingling. Ignore Rob, do whatever you feel is best. But let's give it up, guys. Let's enjoy the rest of the night.